Hey guys, Cold.brew here. Welcome to a sponsored video by Raid Shadow Legends. No guys, I'm totally joking right now. This is definitely not sponsored. We're gonna be actually trying to bash out on Plarium today a bit because of their AMA that they posted. I think I'm the final content creator, at least from the ones that should be speaking out about this AMA and giving their own thoughts and opinions about the answers that Cyrilla has given in part on her own, which represents Plarium's opinions and thoughts on the progression of the game and how the game will develop in the next following month. So if you guys didn't know already, you've been not on YouTube for the past few days, so there was an AMA over on Reddit. They wanted to introduce some more interaction with Reddit, I'm guessing, so that's why they did an AMA, and they thought that this would be a good idea to do it on Reddit. So it didn't go that well in terms of at least the way that everybody was just talking to Cyrilla. They were downvoting all of her responses, and I think rightfully so, at least on most of them, because of what people were expecting and what answers we were getting. So first things first, the biggest thing out of the gate was a recent patch that introduced a blocking of third-party tools like the Raid toolkit, tool helper, whatever it was called, that we could see the mercy system within the game, so we could see where we were ahead in terms of how many shards we need to get a legendary for ancients or sacreds or voids. Now that thing is totally blocked, and the actual creator of one of these software was somewhere in this chat, and then Plarium responded, okay, we'll get in touch, and then maybe you guys can help us out in terms of a partnership. Maybe we can have a discussion in terms of third-party tools. So this was the discussion here on one of these questions, but the most important thing is the way that Plarium responded, in the sense that they said the only reason that they did it was for protecting the software. The actual reason that they did it was, well, for protecting themselves from losing any money, because they thought that us having access to the number of shards we pull would actually interfere with their profit making. And sometimes you make more profit when you keep players happy instead of blocking some things from the game plan. And that's how it works. When you keep people happy, then they'll see a pack and they're more likely to buy it, especially if it's a new one that they've never seen before and it seems appealing if they're spenders. If they are not spenders and they're already mad, they're not going to be ever a spender. Or if they are on the verge of going free to play because they've had enough, and then you do stuff like this, then they've totally had enough. So that's how you keep the spenders, at least in my opinion, of playing these games for quite a while. Raid is not the first game that I played. Raid is the first game that I do content on, but definitely think of the having the community be happy instead of having them be unhappy and then also requesting money out of them. I know that this community Reddit is not all of Raid's community. There's so many new players getting into the game every single day. There's barely any players left in the end game who are level 100. Some content creators are of the few that are level 100, and well, I mean, it makes sense to introduce stuff that newer players wouldn't mind. I mean, they wouldn't know maybe of the toolkit already. So I guess they're doing stuff that they think is all about profit. Anyhow, there were other questions. There was Stu here, right here, just asking about lots of stuff like the pity system, dupe system, about ascensions that are coming. And the thing is, ascensions, this is what is going to be introduced into the game. One of the answers by Cyrilla was actually this. So what they will be introducing as a dupe system in fall 2021 will be the introduction of a system where dupe champions can be used as a way to increase the power of champions you have already. So that's what they said. They haven't told us any specifics, not even the content creators. I don't know what's going to happen. I really don't like that. The idea of that, the system, it's just going to make the game 10 times more pay to win than it is right now. Right now, the pay to win aspect is getting first the champions that are kind of meta, and then the second is gear, where if everybody has the same champions, then it's all about gear. If you don't have the gear, goodbye. And then there's the small part of being in the right clan and being protected by your own clan and having 60 people not fighting you because you've got multiple clans with the same name. So it's kind of all together, but that's Arena. In terms of other stuff that were discussed here, which I was honestly surprised, is that the 3v3 Arena, they're still trying to introduce some kind of big rework. They're saying a big reward is coming up for 3v3 Arena. What is that going to be about? I have no idea. I told them way before in the past, we've got 10 tokens every day. Reduce that to 5. Give us double the gold bars for every win. Then that's going to reduce the time that we need to do all these things within the game. And it's going to make us feel more inclined into actually buying refreshes. So instead of doing double the time every single time we press the refresh button, even if it takes 15 gems for the first time, I don't do it every day because it takes a lot of time for me to farm through 3 Arena. Even if they're just introducing an auto all fights button, it still doesn't make sense. It doesn't help us, the players, and the game does take a lot of time. And this was also addressed by one of the following questions by Cyrilla. This was addressed in terms of the time spent within the game. So one of the answers by Cyrilla was that they are not planning of introducing any 3x or 4x speed within the game, which I think is totally insane. They said that part of the game right now is having a team, a proper team that does the dungeon extremely fast, and having a 3x or 4x is just gonna make that a non-issue for players. So they say, okay, this is a 2-minute team. With a 4x, it would have been an 8-minute team instead, or a 4-minute team. I guess that on 2x, if it's a 4-minute, and on 4x, it would be a 4-minute. So I understand that. I like building teams that are fast. What I would say that instead of introducing the 2x, 3x, 4x, introduce that for things like the clan boss, where speed doesn't matter. It's building the right team, and that's it. It goes. We don't care about how long the fight goes. On clan boss, we care how long the team survives. So it's totally different. So in clan boss, they can totally do it. They can totally introduce a higher speed for the clan boss. Or something else like an auto mechanic, maybe possibly for lower difficulties, so that we could just instantly get the loot. Maybe that can be possible. Another thing that I would say as an introduction to the solution for this in terms of the time spent within dungeons is, let's say you beat Dragon 25 in 2 minutes. We'll have an auto mechanic that does the run, but that's going to be in 2 minutes. So basically the dungeon is locked for the next 2 minutes. And that's one run. And you can do that depending on if you have the raid pass. You have 100 of those available. If not, then you have 30 of those available. So what that's going to do, it's going to lock the dragon dungeon for 30 times 2 minutes, because that's your fastest time. So it's going to lock it for 60 minutes flat. And when those 60 minutes are over, you can just open up your phone and get all the loot. And that's going to be a good way to introduce auto battle mechanic without making it too powerful. It's going to make players also want to spend on the raid pass. Getting 100 battles like that, it's going to be great for some players who think that their time is money, and especially if they've got a phone, it's way harder to do auto battles overnight than players who have a PC, who are obviously in an advantage over players who don't have a PC and can farm overnight. It's a big advantage, and Plarium doesn't really address that ever, and they don't care, because the only advantage really is shown in Arena, and they don't care. They just want to make players spend. So it's these things that I think they've never go back to players who might have a different insight into how to introduce solutions to this. I'm not saying I'm going to be the one bringing in the change. This is a multi-million-dollar company. I'm not saying that I'm the smarter person here, but what I'm saying is, when you introduce a consultant in any area of business, the consultant has experience in the field that you're looking for. And a consultant can be a player who plays the game every single day. I bet I have more experience than many of the actual people who work over at Plarium in terms of the game mechanics and how they work. And there's other players out there who are not even content creators that have even more experience than me on the game mechanics. So there's so much more that Raid could do to just expand their lead in terms of the second in competition for these kind of games. Because as long as they're keeping the players dissatisfied, having the community on the edge. Once and if a new game comes by, then the jump from one game to another will be huge. So if a game comes by that just ticks all the right boxes for players who are already into Raid and love Raid so much, but they don't care about just dropping their accounts, even content creators, then the jump will be there and it will be shown. But for now, they're just enjoying the profits without the competition. That's what's happening, and I think they should be pushing themselves even higher. Maybe that's the reason that they're not pushing themselves in the right direction, at least in my eyes and many of the other content creators' eyes. I think they're not pushing themselves because there's no other real competition out there in terms of games like Raid. So finally, before going into all of the answers, I mean, after a point, Cyrilla was getting repetitive in the answers. People were asking lots of the same things. This is what really annoyed me. Like she said, I know what it's like. I play Raid for 6 to 7 hours per day, roughly. I do take some time off on weekends, though. It's like with chocolate, no matter how much you adore it, eating it 3 times a day will make you sick. I just don't like the answer. That's a total PR answer. She definitely doesn't play the game for 6 to 7 hours a day, and I can totally prove that. I mean, she definitely doesn't play the game for 6 to 7 hours per day, unless she just means she has the game open while she's at work. Because it's totally different actually playing the game for 6-7 hours a day, and it's even worse for mobile only players. What I want to see is some real answers in the future, in the next AMA, if they ever do one. I don't think they'll ever do one anytime soon, because the reaction by the community was quite negative, and how they respond back to the higher ups, because Cyrilla is just the face. Okay, there's higher ups than her that actually take the decisions. It's not her. You guys can go through all of these. I honestly didn't go through all of these. I knew what the answers were going to be from the Q&A. From the main ones, from the main answers from Cyrilla, what I got is that they have their own plans. We are just sitting back and hopefully we'll have a good ride along. But the real thing is, do you like where the game is going? I want to hear that in the comments below. That is the real community talking. The people who watch the videos, who comment down below, that's the most vocal community, I would say, because the bigger spenders in this game honestly are the people from the first things first is going to be USA, and then it goes some of the European countries, Australia. Those are the biggest spenders within the game. They want to keep those players happy. So many of you guys are from those areas. You want to be happy, you want to keep on spending the game, then put down your opinions of the game and where it's going and what you want to see improved within the comments down below. I want to see your opinions as well. I try to do some polls over on my YouTube channel as well in terms of what you want to see in the game. The top choice was quality of life improvements, which was reducing the time taken to do stuff within the game. The second one was a dupe system, and the last one with a 1% votes out of over 5,000 votes was having more champions. That was the real, I put that intentionally in the poll. It's because I wanted to show how much players don't want more champions, want more stuff to do and less time spent doing the older stuff when we've reached the point of progression. So that's my own thoughts, guys. This video might have gone for a bit too long. I don't like doing rant videos. This wasn't much of a rant. This was more of a just stating my thoughts. Yeah, it's not a rant. It's not a rant, really. I am honestly at a point with the company where I can't expect anything out of them. So I don't really get angry. I get disappointed. That's the truth. I get disappointed because it's a game that I like. I would like to go full-time eventually being a content creator, but if Raid just gives me negative signs, then I can't honestly drop my day job for a company that could, from one day on another, just kick all the players out and not have any more viewers watching my videos. So anyway, guys, this was the video. Thanks a lot for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. And guys, I'll see you in the next one. See ya.